Hey everybody, well this is what rain in Minnesota looks like. Forecasted to get a half-inch of rain today, and it's been wet, sloppy snow. So yeah, still a nice day to get out and just enjoy creation. I wanted to talk switchgrass today, just talk about switchgrass bedding, like what scenarios work well for switchgrass bedding, what don't, and just some of the overall benefits of switchgrass. Before I do that, I just wanted to share a word with you because I was a little discouraged to see snow again today, but in the grand scheme of things, not a big deal. Life can throw a lot more trials at us than a little bit of snow. But I was reading through the Psalms and I heard a good psalm, or read a good psalm. It was Psalm 73:26. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart, my portion forever. And when life is discouraging, God is definitely that rock that can hold us up. And even the weather can be a little discouraging. But at the end of the day, when we know the Lord, that's what fulfills us. That's what strengthens us, and that's what life's all about. So anyway, I'm going to jump into. I'm going to go to a switchgrass area and start talking switch. You can see today with the snow, actually, this is switchgrass behind me. With the wet, heavy snow, it lays down, but the beautiful thing about switchgrass is it'll pop right back up once this snow melts later today, even probably if this stuff switches to rain ever. So, but yeah, let me get over to the main area I wanted to talk about, and let's start talking some switchgrass. So, all right, when I think of switchgrass, I think there's three different kind of scenarios that play out when it comes to the type of acreage you're planting it on. So some guys live in big woods country, some guys lived in mixed ag, which is where I live, and some guys are more out in the prairie. So one thing I would never do, because switchgrass to me, it's good. I love it. I mean, I do a lot of videos on switchgrass, but really the thing that switchgrass does the best is enhance other bedding. So I mostly use switchgrass to make other bedding, particularly bedding in the timber, better. So I use it for screening a lot. I mean, I'll plant 1 to 2 acres of it to screen off bedding areas in the timber, but I don't use it as standalone bedding very much in mixed ag. Now, if you're in prairie country, you can plant switchgrass as bedding and get great results, because a lot of times that's the only cover in the area. So if you add cover, the deer will absolutely use it. So prairie country, switchgrass is great for bedding. It works very, very well. Now mixed ag, which is where I'm at, I use it more to enhance bedding in the timber. I have this big area right here that is CRP, so I'm going to use it to try promote some bedding out in this CRP because it's big enough. This is a 20+ acre field. I do feel like I can get a few deer to bed out here, but I still think the bedding back in the timber far exceeds the switchgrass bedding out here on this big chunk of CRP ground. So I'm doing it, I'm adding it out here because I know I'll get some benefit. I don't really expect bucks to bed out here, but I might get some does and fawns using it. But still, I would prefer bedding back in the timber, and I still use it more to promote bedding in the timber through screening. Now, I know in videos I've showed deer beds in switchgrass. Yes, they do bed in it a little bit in some of those areas where I have 1 to 2 acres of switchgrass that's kind of screening off timbered areas. So there's some bedding with it, but bedding in the timber, early successional woody vegetation, spruce, pine plantings to give that good thermal cover, swamps, those things, they're far better bedding than switchgrass, even in mixed ag. But I like diversity, so I'm adding some of this type of bedding out here just to see if some of the deer will use it, which I do believe that this field is big enough that deer will use it some for bedding. All right, let's talk big woods country and switchgrass. Now here's something I would never do. This is my opinion. Now there may be guys out there, even guys that I respect, that have a different opinion on this, but I would never trade woody regeneration, or the potential for woody regeneration, for switchgrass bedding, because I think woody regeneration like this far exceeds the bedding potential of switchgrass. And I've seen it. I've seen guys clear areas in the timber to try and plant switchgrass, when really I think they would be better off just clearing those areas in the timber to promote this, because this equals food and cover. I have a hard time believing that deer will select switchgrass bedding in the timber over woody regeneration. In fact, I feel like they would likely avoid those areas. Now, if somebody has seen different, feel free to throw it in the comments. I'm always up for learning, but I've just never seen a benefit to switchgrass in the timber outside of maybe promoting screening around maybe a little kill plot or something like that in the timber. Now, in that scenario, it has a great benefit. But woody regeneration equals food and cover. In this particular spot, I watched a probably 160-inch deer stand up right there in the woody regen this year. And he was in here because this is just fantastic bedding. This was logged about a year and a half ago, and we're already getting great regen. You can see that it's over my head level, and they have been browsing on it as well. So yeah, to me, I would not trade woody regen for switchgrass bedding. So I don't really see switchgrass having a benefit at all when it comes to big timber country and bedding. Promote woody regen. That will be your best bedding in that area. All right, so here you can see that edge I'm talking about when I'm talking about promoting bedding in the timber using switchgrass. So look at that behind me. It's thick. It's been a good bedding area for us. Now as I pan out this way, you can see the switchgrass. We got about 2 acres of switchgrass there. So this edge right behind me right there helps promote bedding back in the timber over there. So it's helped out a ton. It's made this bedding area behind me very, very good. Now I get a little bit of bedding in the switchgrass, and it actually is fine. I'm okay with the bedding in the switchgrass here because I have a good hill behind me for screening. So it actually feels pretty secluded, pretty safe back here. But the goal with the switchgrass in this area was to make this better, and it's worked very, very well. It's been an awesome bedding area for us. So yeah, lots of different scenarios where you can plant switchgrass. A lot of the times, the best case scenario for switch is to use it for screening, but there are definitely times where you can use it for bedding. But in most situations, I like to use it to promote screening in areas, and then in some areas I like to add it for screening / bedding. But there's very few situations, I guess, where I'm using it for just kind of standalone bedding, unless you're in that big open prairie country, or you have big open areas in mixed egg where you can put some switchgrass down and promote some quick bedding. But deer definitely prefer this back here over switchgrass. So if you can promote that, do that first. But switchgrass is awesome. I mean, it's a very versatile habitat tool that you can use for many different reasons. But just wanted to kind of lay out what I've seen to be the best use for switchgrass. All right, the snow has stopped, and I think that means it's maybe time for me to go do some habitat work. We'll see. All right, y'all take care. God bless.